Blessed Holy Thursday to you, friends, sinners, and saints. I'm coming to you live from my living room once again as we are distancing. And I wanted to just share a little bit with you this afternoon. Holy Thursday, also called Maundy Thursday, is based on Jesus sharing the last meal with his beloved friends and giving them a mandatum, in Latin, a mandate, a commandment to love one another as he has loved. So we get this beautiful Maundy Thursday that has all of the symbols and all of the liturgy that goes with it, that centers around Jesus with his friends on this last night as they share a meal, just a common meal that they had shared before. It wasn't common because it was the Passover, but they had shared in life together, and that's what people do. And I don't know about you, but as we get further and further into this quarantine and this social distancing, the idea of just sharing a meal with someone is so amazing. I long for the day when we can sit together again and go out for a meal and enjoy that company together. So if nothing else, this time has taught us what we are missing, and to not take that for granted. So I love the scripture from John 13, and this scripture doesn't talk about the meal so much. It doesn't give us the wording of Jesus's words at the meal that we get for Holy Communion. It doesn't give us those words like it does in Mark. But I love this story because another tradition and liturgy that happens on Maundy Thursday is foot washing because of what Jesus did. So let me read you this from John's Gospel, the 13th chapter. Now, before the festival of the Passover, Jesus knew that his hour had come to depart from this world and to go to the Father. Having loved his own who were in the world, he loved them to the end. The devil had already put into the heart of Judas, son of Simon Iscariot, to betray him. And during supper, Jesus, knowing that the Father had given all things into his hands, and that he had come from God and was going to God, got up from the table, took off his outer robe, and tied a towel around himself. And he poured water into a basin, and he began to wash the disciples' feet, and to wipe them with the towel that was tied around him. He came to Simon Peter, who said to him, "Lord, are you going to wash my feet?" Jesus answered, "You do not know now what I am doing, but later you will understand." Peter said to him, "You will never wash my feet." Jesus answered, "Unless I wash you, you have no share with me." Simon Peter said to him, "Lord, not my feet only, but also my hands and my head." Jesus said to him, "Only one who is bathed does not need to wash, except for the feet, but is entirely clean. And you are clean, though not all of you." For he knew who was to betray him. For this reason he said, "Not all of you are clean." After he had washed their feet, he put on his robe and returned to the table. He said to them, "Do you know what I have done for you? You call me teacher and Lord, and you are right, for that is what I am. So if I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. For I have set you an example, that you also should do as I have done for you. Very truly I tell you, servants are not greater than their master, nor are messengers greater than the one who sent them. If you know these things, you are blessed if you do them." And then later in verse 31 of John 13, it says, Jesus said, "Now the Son of Man has been glorified, and God has been glorified in him. If God is glorified in him, God will also glorify him in himself and glorify him at once. Little children, I am with you only a little longer. You will look for me, and as I said to the Jews, so now I say to you, where I am going you cannot come." I give you a new commandment, that you love one another, just as I have loved you. You also should love one another. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another. I love, love, love this scripture. I have done foot washings. Foot washings make people very uncomfortable. Foot washings are way out of our element. And for that reason, they are beautiful. Doing things out of our element is the surest way to get to a part of us that we hold on to and maybe block up and close off. If you've never done a foot washing, that's okay. Um, but the sheer power of it is in the humility, the humbling of it. When you bend down on your knees and you get in front of someone and you wash their feet, oh my gosh, there is a power in that. I can't explain it. But there's another power, and that is when someone is washing your feet. And that is where I had the problem. I don't have a problem washing other people's feet. I'm not a foot person. I'm kind of a germaphobe, and I'm like, no. But washing someone else's feet was not my problem. But having someone wash my feet was a problem. I don't know why. It just felt weird. But when I allowed them to do it, a sense rushed over me of what Jesus did that I'll just never forget it. And it reminds me of this picture that I have. I've had this since the late '90s, the early 2000s when I was a youth minister. Um, it is called Divine Servant. It's a sketch that someone had done. I actually bought it. It's an original. I bought it for like $2 in a sale. I feel ashamed, um, but someone actually drew this. It's based on a sculpture somewhere. Divine Servant, and it's Jesus washing Peter's feet. And this has been hanging in my home since somewhere around the year 2000. The glass broke on it when I brought it into church one time and tried to share it. But this is Peter. Peter and his big old clawdy feet and his love for Jesus. His big old mouth that got him in trouble. Oh boy, I know Peter. And I know Peter when he said, "Oh, wait, Lord, you're not washing my feet." I know what he felt. I know what that's like to say, "No, no, no, I'm good, I'm good. I'm fine. You don't know, I don't need any help." Some of us have a problem with that. I have a problem with that. Peter had a problem with that. No, Lord, you don't need to wash my feet. Jesus said, "Listen, if you don't let me do this, you don't have any part of me." If we do not allow Jesus to humbly change us, we have no part of him. We don't we don't allow that grace to flow through. See, that's the thing, is that when Jesus washed the feet of the disciples, it was an act of grace that flowed out of Jesus and into them, and then he gave them the commandment to let it flow out into the world. And if we don't, if we don't allow that grace to enter us, then it stops in us and it doesn't go out. I relate to Peter. Oh Lord, I'm good. Instead of saying, "Oh God, yes, Jesus, wash me. I need to be cleansed." To be able to be honest with ourselves and with Jesus is an act of grace. And so on this Maundy Thursday, as we contemplate that and we think about the meal that Jesus shared and we think about what he did for us, remember to let that grace flow through you and be a conduit. And don't let yourself get clogged up with yourself, with your pride, with whatever it is that keeps you from receiving. Because if you don't let it in fully, you can't let it out. So be blessed on this Maundy Thursday as you contemplate these things, and remember how much and in what way Jesus loved us. God bless you.